Okay, I'm ready. Kind of. Hi, it's me again. I'm back here to talk about my church experiences and why I left, and kind of just continue this conversation that I've started through videos. Today I'm going to be talking about my experiences volunteering in the church. In the church that I attended, they strongly encouraged people to volunteer in some capacity, no matter what age you were, no matter what phase of life you were in. Volunteering was something that was just really encouraged for everyone to do. I had probably been volunteering there for about 10 years over the course of the 14 years that I was there. I started volunteering when I was about 12 or 13. The different ministries, as they're called, that I volunteered in ranged from nursery to infants, to kids' Sunday school service, to junior high on Wednesday nights, to high school on Friday nights, to different event organizing. There was a plethora of things to choose from, and those are just a few of them that I did. I was volunteering around 20 hours a week by the time that I left. At times would turn down like actual paid shifts from other work that I did because I just wanted to be volunteering all of the time. There were a lot of times when I rearranged my own work schedules so that I could volunteer for something, trade shifts with people, things like that, because I just wanted to be at the church volunteering all of the time. Now, I loved volunteering. I still love volunteering so much. I absolutely love just the joy that you can bring other people by doing something because you want to, not because you have any other motive. Since I left the church, I actually haven't volunteered anywhere else, and I definitely do feel the lack of giving out of myself. I have a lot more time to focus on me, which isn't always bad, but there's definitely a lot that I feel like I could be giving. Obviously, it's kind of hard to volunteer in certain things right now because of COVID-19, so I haven't been doing that. Now, in a lot of big church systems, you may be familiar with this, you kind of start to volunteer and you slowly get involved in more and more things as time goes on. Once you volunteer in one thing, it's hard to not want to volunteer in another thing. A lot of things kind of lead into another volunteering position or maybe a leadership position. For example, I started out singing on the high school worship team, and then slowly that grew into me leading the high school worship team. And then I also started singing on the Sunday morning worship team, and then eventually started leading the Sunday morning worship team, and then made our worship schedules, picked out songs, made arrangements, things like that. And it just kind of grew into more and more responsibility and more use of my time. Now, again, I was totally fine giving up all of my time to do those things. I loved doing them, and they gave me some sense of purpose. Now, this doesn't happen a lot, but I have talked to a few people who are either still in these kind of church settings or have left. And a lot of them volunteered in a similar capacity that I did, or still do. And a lot of them also agree with me that there is a feeling, or people on staff at the church, people in higher up positions, give you the impression that one day this could turn into a job opportunity at the church, which, if you're spending enough of your time there already, is really convenient. And if you like the atmosphere you're in, then that would be awesome. And that was what I wanted, because I didn't really have any career aspirations or goals or know what I really wanted to do with my life. I already knew that I loved volunteering at my church. I already knew the job super well. So there would be a lot of ways that I could fit in really well in a church workplace, even if it was just as an intern. But eventually months became years, and I had just taken on a lot of volunteering responsibilities, and no sign of a job ever came up. But there was always the possibility, or it was always, oh, you would fit this role so well if it ever opened up, or we'd love to see you as part of our team on a staff position one day. Now, eventually I had to kind of come to the realization that I was spending maybe a little bit too much of my time volunteering, because I never saw my family. I was only home to sleep and eat sometimes. And people in my life were saying that they weren't seeing me as much. The church is never going to say no to you if you're willing to volunteer and give up your time. They will always take your time. And if you offer more of it, they will take that as well. Again, this was something that I chose to do, but I think that I just could have been a little bit more conscious of it. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with volunteering. In fact, I would encourage everyone to go volunteer. I'm just saying it doesn't have to be in your church. And that was a problem that I noticed, that I was never encouraged to really seek anything outside of my church. I would bring up volunteering at like homeless shelters or things like that, and it was just like, well, why don't you just do whatever, like a volunteering opportunity that we have here, because then the church has you as a person and not you going somewhere else. Now, like I've said before, I joined my church when I was really young and I grew up in it, so it was all I ever knew and it was all I ever really wanted to know. But what I always struggled with was finding a life purpose or something that I felt like would give me drive or motivate me. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I never really wanted to go to university or anything like that. So volunteering at the church just took up all of the time that I would have spent studying, doing homework, going to classes if I was in university. Eventually, when I thought of the option of going to school, I actually put it off for a really long time because my volunteering positions were more important to me than going to school. And looking back, that was a really big mistake. I feel like the people in positions above me could have guided me more in the direction of what was going to be good for my long-term future rather than short-term, which was just to continue volunteering there on a daily basis. I was never encouraged to go beyond my comfort zone and push beyond my strengths and explore school or other bigger work opportunities that would actually pay me. I gave the church my time and they took it. I was really young, I was really impressionable, and I was really scared. And I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, and I didn't know if I was going to be good at anything. So I just stayed there and I picked up garbage on the weekends and I sang on my worship team and I went to my Bible study and I met up for coffee with youth kids. I did the things that you're supposed to do. And I put my own life on hold, and that was my choice. But no one told me about anything else outside those four walls. No one said, hey, you're actually really good at this. Maybe you should try and go to school for it and turn it into a job. Because I don't think the church cared about my survival, it cared about theirs. It cared about the church thriving, the church growing, the church advancing, not me. When volunteering at the church, obviously whatever you're doing is for someone else. You're supposed to be doing it out of a place of love and care, like you would most things. And we did that, but because there was always a religion behind it, it never felt completely pure to me. I used to volunteer with an organization that would deliver furniture across the city to people who needed it. And when we were done, we would invite these people to our church, give them a pamphlet, and that was immediately when we would lose people because they suddenly realized we weren't there to just provide them a service and be kind to them. We also had a small motive behind it, and I didn't like that feeling. One of the biggest things that I failed to realize was that the sense of purpose and drive, the little flame that I felt when I was volunteering, was actually what I would find when I decided to go to school, but times 10. That was when I actually discovered what I should be putting my hands to, what kind of work I should be doing, and what was the best use of my time. I would never discourage anyone from volunteering. I think it's great. I think it's fabulous. And I think that I got life experience in a way that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise had I not done it. But all I was rewarded with were a lot of pats on the back and good jobs and some smiles and nothing for my long-term future. Like once COVID is done, if it ever ends, I do intend to volunteer in other capacities. It just won't be through a church. I think the purpose of this video, if it wasn't clear, is just to look out for how much time the church takes up of yours. Because your time matters, even if you don't think it does. Your time has value, and you need to know where that value should be placed. I thought my time was worthless. I thought I was worthless. So it didn't matter where my time went. It didn't matter if I invested in my future or not. And that was the motive behind my volunteering. It was to make me feel good and make me feel like I had a purpose, not to help anyone else. and the church might have taken advantage of that. Might have. If this is something that you want to talk more about, reach out to me. I'm always here. If you have any volunteering stories you want to tell me or volunteering opportunities you want to share with me during COVID especially, please feel free to reach out to me. I hope you have a great day. Be well. Stay safe. Bye. Hi! So it's me again. Ooh man, I gotta learn how to do it proper intro. Hey, it's me again. I'm back here to talk about my church experiences and why I left. And today's video, wow, I said and like a million times, let's restart.